Well, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz is heading to Istanbul, where he's due to meet with Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. Relations between the countries have been strained for years. We'll get more on that with our correspondent in Turkey in just a moment. But first, a look at where things stand between the two nations.
Germany and Turkey are partners. A connection that can be characterized as a close but difficult relationship. Germany is home to the world's largest Turkish diaspora of some 3 million people, fostering strong economic ties, but often a source of political tensions. Bilateral relations have deteriorated under Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. German leaders have voiced concerns over the state of human rights and democracy in Turkey. Erdogan has accused them of double standards and hypocrisy, divisions that have also played out in the Turkish-German community. Despite the strains, there has been cooperation on topics like curbing irregular migration. And though Turkey has not joined its NATO allies in sanctioning Russia for its full-scale invasion of Ukraine, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz has praised the crucial role played by Erdogan as a mediator, facilitating a deal with Moscow to allow the export of Ukrainian grain through the Black Sea, and the recent historic prisoner swap between Russia and the West. But deep policy differences over the war in Gaza have caused new acrimony, which was apparent during Erdogan's last official visit to Berlin, just weeks after Hamas's October 7th terrorist attack. Scholz's firm support of Israel is in stark contrast to Erdogan, who has called Israel a terror state and Hamas a liberation group. Though that rift is hanging over these talks, Turkey's hoping for a breakthrough on its ambitions to buy 40 Eurofighter jets. So far, Germany has blocked the sale of the jets. But with Scholz looking for Ankara's help to deport Turkish citizens whose asylum requests have been rejected in Germany, Erdogan could be looking to strike a hard bargain.
Let's get more from Julia Hahn, DW correspondent in Istanbul. Julia, as we just heard in the report, Turkey and Germany, despite being NATO allies, have very different stances on the conflicts in Ukraine and especially Gaza. Are Scholz and Erdogan likely to find any common ground there?
Well, I think that might be easier on Ukraine than when it comes to the situation in Gaza, when it comes to the escalating crisis in the Middle East and Israel's war against Hezbollah and Hamas. German Chancellor Scholz and Turkish President Erdogan could hardly have more different positions. Scholz is a strong supporter of Israel, emphasizing the country's right to self-defense against Hamas and Hezbollah attacks. He has also said that Germany would continue to deliver arms to Israel. And Erdogan, on the other hand, is one of the loudest and fiercest critics of Israel's year-long military campaign in Gaza and its recent deadly push into Lebanon. He's openly calling Israel's military actions in Gaza genocide. He's frequently comparing Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to Nazi leader Adolf Hitler. And then, of course, Turkey's very close relationship with Hamas, which Berlin views as a terrorist organization. Just yesterday, the Turkish foreign minister met with top Hamas officials here in Istanbul, and he expressed his condolences for the death of Yahya Sinwar, the group's former leader, who was killed this week by Israeli forces. We've seen the Chancellor and the Turkish president trade barbs over the conflict last time they met in Germany. We might see something like this happening again today, but then there is also some common ground. Both Berlin and Ankara want a ceasefire for Gaza, so I believe the German Chancellor will be keen on emphasizing that.
We understand migration, too, is expected to be on the agenda. What does Scholz hope to achieve in Turkey, and what's in it for Erdogan?
Well, German Chancellor Scholz is under increasing pressure to show that he is doing something against so-called irregular migration. Anti-refugee sentiment is on the rise in Europe and Germany. Far-right parties are gaining more and more support. So, first of all, he has an interest in keeping the 2016 EU-Turkey refugee deal going, where Brussels sends money to Turkey and Turkey in exchange prevents refugees from reaching Europe from Turkey. Turkey. And then again, Berlin, I believe, will be pushing for the repatriation of thousands of Turkish citizens whose asylum requests have been denied in Germany. And Scholz will be seeking, I think, reassurances from Turkish President Erdogan that this process of repatriation will be facilitated. Erdogan, on the other hand, he wants to see a breakthrough on the Eurofighter issue. Turkey wants to buy 40 of these fighter jets, which are produced jointly by the UK, Germany, Italy and Spain, and all of them have to agree. Berlin has so far, for different reasons, put the brakes on it. But from what we hear, there seems to be some movement on this issue. And if it happens, this would, of course, be something that Erdogan could sell as a success domestically here in Turkey.
Yulia, only half a minute, but I am curious. You've been living in Turkey for some years now, and you've covered German-Turkish relations extensively. Where do you see this relationship heading?
Well, I think Turkey and Germany need each other. There is no doubt about that. But from a German perspective, my impression is that the German government has adopted a much more pragmatic approach to dealing with Turkish President Erdogan. That means much less public criticism of the human rights situation here, the democratic backsliding under Erdogan, instead an emphasis on cooperation, common ground and trade. And I believe that has something to do with the changing geopolitical situation, the power shifts that we are seeing. So Turkey's role in the region is really indispensable for Germany, the same for Turkey. They need trade with and investment from Germany as the Turkish economy is ailing. So Erdogan also has an increased interest in stable, good relations with Germany.
That's Yulia Hahn in Istanbul. Many thanks.